guys, community update from court. Today is Friday, March 1st. Nicholas Rosenberg. I represent Eden, Alex, and Amarado. I've got good news for the community. Today, we fucking dropped a bombshell on the cops and the DA. So I filed a motion. It's 103 pages. We call it a pitches motion. If you remember at the last court date, I explained that a pitches motion means we're trying to get into the personnel file of a peace officer, and what we're looking for is people who have accused them of misconduct, such as planting evidence, lying under oath, fabricating charges, acts of moral turpitude, or using excessive force. Now, it used to be very hard for us to do these motions. They used to put up obstacles and roadblocks. Nowadays, under a case called Brady versus Maryland, the district attorneys actually have to tell us if they think a cop has a pitches hit. So we get that in LA County. This is called the Orwitz database. And there's a case that says once the DA discloses that there may be a citizen complaint against a peace officer, that we're able to do our examination of their file. So the way it works, excuse me, is we serve it on the cops, and then they give it to their lawyer. For the county, San Bernardino County Sheriff, that's going to be San Bernardino County Council. And for Pomona, it's probably going to be the city attorney of Pomona. But what my motion is asking for is for the custodian of records. That's a law enforcement civilian who actually brings the personnel file to court. And it's called an in-camera inspection. In-camera is Latin for in chambers. So the judge, the court reporter, and the custodian of records, they go in the back, and then the judge looks through it and decides if there's something to discover to defense counsel. So what we're looking for are citizens who filed a complaint. My motion is for Pomona Detective Travis Johnson, who testified regarding the incidents on September 3rd for John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, as well as Detective Blake Foyle and especially Detective Alejandro Duran, who testified regarding September 24th, the September 24th incident involving John Doe 3. But remember, Detective Duran is the one who talked to Pomona. So he wrote reports about Pomona too. As I've said repeatedly, 13 of the 16 counts that Alex is charged with actually are from Los Angeles County in the city of Pomona. And so if you're scratching your head, Rosenberg, how can the San Bernardino District Attorney's Office prosecute alleged crimes that arise from Los Angeles County? Raise your hand if you're asking yourself that and you're not filming. I should see everybody's hand go up. Then you're exactly right, because basically, as my clients would say, it's fucking bullshit. Okay, so the prosecutor's relying on Penal Code Section 781. I gave the community the homework assignment to go ahead and research that. I've been getting texts and DMs that people are doing that. So part of my goal with the community updates is to make the court, criminal justice, the legal system, criminal law available for non-lawyers, because the lawyers we speak our special language, and some lawyers are stingy with that. They won't even tell their client. My approach in this case, because it is of public moment, because what happens to these 8 activists may happen to activists around the world, and especially in the United States, in California, in Southern California. So my message is, let's get the community educated on the law. Let's get the community understanding the significance of the Justice 8. As you know, I represent Alex, so my bias is towards Alex. As everybody knows, he's the alleged ringleader, and I call him team captain. So I'll give you the update from Alex, because for some reason, I'm the only lawyer who visits his client after court. And I explained, and I actually read my declaration to Alex, and I'm going to read it today for the community update, so that everybody is 100% transparent with what we're doing. So Alex said, we're in it for the long haul. Alex said, don't give up hope. Alex said that we're criminalized just like the activists were in the 1960s. And if you want to see my community update on that, I talk about the New York 21 and the East LA 13. So I'll give the community a homework assignment. Google it. And Alex said that he still hasn't gotten his medical treatment that I talked about. Now, I am a criminal defense attorney. I currently do not do civil rights, but just so you know, that's in the future. Rosenberg will be suing the cops. But for now, I have delegated that issue to attorney Christian Contreras. He is a civil rights lawyer. He's mentored by an attorney named Humberto Huizar. We call him Bert. So I'll give Bert and the MABA, Mexican American Bar Association in Los Angeles, I'll give Bert a shout. I almost called him as a gang expert. Okay, so let's get to the declaration. And I want to say, give yourself a hand. If you're here, it's hard to get here. We have jobs, we have a mortgage to pay, we have kids to feed. So if you're here in solidarity, I appreciate you. Today, we're a little less than what we usually have, but I recommend everybody come April 3rd. Damon Al Murray is going to do a discovery motion, and we're all joining in it, and I'm going to do my pitches. So, as they say, stay tuned. News at 11. Let me find my declaration.
You ask questions after.
Yeah. So my motion is 29 pages plus about 80 pages of police reports. So the law is that I don't have to make a declaration under penalty of perjury, because if that were the law, then Rosenberg would have had to have been at the crime scene, right? I would have had to been a first-hand witness. But I'm allowed to do a declaration on information and belief. So what information and belief means is that I am informed of the facts and I believe them to be true. Now, just so you know, a declaration counts as evidence. So I'm supplying evidence. I'll give you a preview. Investigative journalist, MrCheckpoint, has put in a tremendous amount of work, and he wrote a declaration. And this is the first time in 18 years that Rosenberg has included an investigative journalist declaration. So we're out here breaking ground. So the first thing I say is my client is charged with the 16 counts because Alex has the most counts, his number goes to count 16. And you'll remember from the preliminary hearing, count 16 is the robbery that the judge said there was not enough evidence for. I've spoken about this before, but the DA went ahead and added it back. So we're upset about that, because even to a standard of probable cause, which is less than reasonable doubt, the standard at a trial, Judge Arredondo said there wasn't the evidence, and then the DA added it back to try to smack us. So here's what I wrote to the judge. I am informed and believe that Pomona Police Department Detective Travis Johnson, serial number, and San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Detective Blake Foyle and Detective Alejandro Duran have engaged in police misconduct in this investigation, and testimony during the preliminary hearing after reviewing the attached declaration of investigative journalist Senate Devermont, which I incorporate into this declaration of counsel. I am informed and believe that the officers deliberately tried to cover up, planting informants into the group of demonstrators who include the 8 co-defendants in this case and others who have not been charged. Specific, factual scenario. I'm informed and believe that the 3 detectives made false statements during the preliminary hearing in order to keep the investigation open and not disclose their informants, and that the use of infiltrators and informants is material to the defenses of entrapment, impeachment, and overall integrity of the investigation for these charges, which arise out of defendants exercising their First Amendment rights.
That's what they got to go back and
New York 21. This specific factual scenario is not a mere denial of the charges or incident reports, and is internally consistent and therefore meets the threshold of the Warwick decision above. And Warwick is a case that talks about what the defense needs to show in order to trigger the in-camera inspection. But let me get to the juicy stuff. This is the Chisme. This is Checkpoint's declaration. And I'll tell you, as my clients would say, it's fucking bomb. Okay.
Was that a quote from him?
No.
Oh,
I quote my clients all the time because people know Rosenberg is still hood.
Okay.
Okay. So I Senate Devermont, and that's this guy right here who's donated a lot of his time and energy in covering the case, covering my representation of Alex. The man knows the community side of this case, in my opinion, better than anybody else. And he was not in the group DM. Okay. So I, Senate Devermont, state and declare on information and belief as follows. I am an investigative journalist. Investigative journalist. So if you're at home and you're covering issues, guess what? In 2024 with social media, you are an investigative journalist. So power to the people. Okay. I'm an investigative journalist with first-hand knowledge regarding the case of people of the state of California versus Eden, Alex, and Namorado. and the other 7 co-defendants pertaining to this case. I sat inside the Victorville courtroom for all preliminary hearings when all witnesses testified and were cross-examined. That means that Senate has first-hand knowledge of the hearings, and that's very important. In the testimony and cross-examination of Detective Travis Johnson, Detective Blake Foyle, and Detective Alejandro Duran, the lead detectives, it was clearly stated that in the case of conspiracy, there were no informants and no people working with the police. I believe there are 2 individuals who are partners and live together, whom I will refer to as Karen and Kyle to protect their identity, because I believe they are actively working with the police that first appear according to videos I have seen on September 12th, 2023. Watching a video is first-hand knowledge of the events because the videos don't lie, right? Now, they accused us of editing and manipulating, but remember, they didn't want to show any videos. It was when I started showing videos that they started showing videos. Karen and Kyle are confirmed by video to have shown up to at least a dozen demonstrations in a 90-day range, sometimes showing up first, where they mostly seem to stay to themselves, while Kyle would film and live stream to an audience, sharing information he would later screenshot to the group DM. And the group DM, I want to say 20 activists who are working with Alex, and the live streams Kyle made all seem to disappear when they end. And as the millennials would say, that shit's sus, right? Okay. Many people confirmed they were told by Karen and Kyle to not film them and would intentionally attempt to stay out of the camera's view. Kyle is often seen wearing accessories to cover his face. Now, Karen and Kyle both made several racial epithets towards white people, specifically verbally and in writing. Karen wrote the group DM, and I'm quoting, Kyle says if her white community friends show up, we are letting them have it. Kyle wrote in the group DM, I don't shake hands with no fucking cop or white person, end quote. Karen and Kyle used various obscenities towards people and police in person at demonstrations. And just remember, I don't say protest. Protest is a word the government uses to marginalize the activistas, okay? So I say demonstration, I say assembly, okay? So that's the language that we should use when we're talking about the Justice 8. Okay, back to Senate. Karen and Kyle were regularly sharing the following types of information in a group DM. They shared names, pictures, addresses, social media accounts, phone numbers, employment history, relatives' names, and information along with other details of other people in the group chat without being provoked or asked. Because these two would consistently be a fast source of personally identifying information that wasn't even being asked for. I believe, oh, this is important, guys. I believe they intended to incite, entice, and entrap people in the group DM to take actions that would later result in the arrests of several defendants in this case. In fact, many people openly joked and asked about Karen and Kyle, saying the following: "What are you guys, FBI? Or how'd you get that info so fast? You guys are so quick together." Kyle shared screenshots that Mayor Aquanetta Warren, Fontana Mayor Aquanetta Warren, was viewing his social media posts. Kyle made statements like, "Give us the names and a possible city for these people. We got you." Next page. This is the bombshell, guys. On a reverse lookup of the phone Karen was using to communicate with people, goes to the name Alexander Duran and registered out of Victorville, San Bernardino County. Little detour, I'm also informed the name Alejandro Duran also pops up, and that's detective from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's. Now, when iSenate asked why that would be, Karen made 3 different statements that conflict with one another, which was she got a new phone a few months ago, to a year ago, and to 2 years ago. Those were her 3 versions. Since Karen was asked, both her and Kyle have since changed or deleted their social media profiles and have gone radio silent from a majority of people that they once were interacting with regularly. Now you can see right here, Senate took a little break and he wrote the following. The following incidents that took place in chronological order based on information and belief. So here's the timeline. September 9th, a group DM was made. Karen or Kyle were not included at this time, by Eden, Alex, and Amorato to get people together for a surprise birthday party for his partner, Wendy Lujan. And for those who don't know, Wendy's being represented by Christian Contreras, the civil rights attorney. The chat discusses what is needed regarding decorations, cake, gifts, etc. September 12th, 2023, Upland demonstration. Karen and Kyle are present. September 14th, 2023, Santa Ana demonstration. Karen and Kyle are present. September 24th demonstration leads to the Mr. Car Wash incident with John Doe 3. Karen and Kyle are present. Karen is seen by several people, also confirmed by video, of Karen using her water bottle to spray water on John Doe 3, which makes contact with his face and gray t-shirt. Several people are arrested, including co-defendants Wendy Lujan and David Chavez. But get this, guys, neither Karen nor Kyle are arrested that day. September 26th, 2023, Upland City Council meeting. Karen and Kyle are present. September 27th, 2023, San Bernardino County Sheriff Detective Alejandro, who is one of the lead detectives in the multi-agency case, joins the conspiracy investigation, and he claims the defendants were using group chats and technology to dox people, whereas the information came from Karen and Kyle. September 30th, 2023, Anaheim demonstration. Karen and Kyle are present. October 2nd demonstration. Riverside demonstration. Karen and Kyle are present. October 7th, 2023, Alameda buyout. Who's there, guys? Karen and Kyle are present. I like that. And trappers. That's the gentleman in the black. As we say, much love, my boy. October 23rd, 2023, Karen and Kyle enter the group DM for the first time, and within 24 hours, they share Fontana Mayor Aquanetta's home addresses, pictures, and information. I noted Mayor Aquanetta is part of the discovery in this case. If you remember from the preliminary hearing, they talked about Alex getting detained in Fontana in front of her house. October 24th, 2023. Several people go to the Fontana City Council meeting. Karen and Kyle are present. From there, Kyle said he would go to a different address he found for Mayor Aquanetta, but he encouraged others to go to a 14222 address, which he also located as Mayor Aquanetta's home. Now, the police were waiting at the 14222 address when Eden, Alex, and Alvarado and the others arrived. Eden, Alex, and Alvarado and Lorenzo were both arrested in front of the 14222 Aquanetta's home address. The 14222 address was even being broadcasted on Kyle's Instagram feed, where people were commenting other addresses.
Which is not a crime because people protest in front of Xbox all the time.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Remind me, I have something to say. As they say, I'ma speak on that. Okay, October 27th, Mayor Aquanetta of Fontana files a petition to prevent workplace violence, which is denied by the court on the very same day. We're getting close, guys. I'm on the last page. November 14th, 2023, at around 7 p.m., Kyle shares the Mayor of Fontana's address in the group DM. November 15th, 2023, Fontana City Council meeting. Eden, Alex, and Alvarado, Stephanie Amesquita, and Vanessa Carrasco get arrested. Guess who's there? Kyle and Karen are both present. November 17th, 2023, Fontana City Council meeting with Kyle and Karen being present. November 20th, 2023, Tustin City demonstration. Karen and Kyle were present. November 25th, 2023, East Los Angeles, sometimes we call it East Los, demonstration. Kyle and Karen were present. December 3rd, Riverside demonstration. Kyle and Karen were present with 2 children. December 10th, 2023 Apple Valley demonstration, Eden, Alex, and Alvarado was detained, and Kyle and Karen were present. December 14th, 2023, 8 of the defendants were raided between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Now, this is the most important sentence of all. Therefore, I am informed and believe that Kyle and Karen are police infiltrators and informants, and that all 3 detectives named above in this case lied under oath. Okay, guys, that's the bombshell.
Wow.
103 pages. The district attorney does not get a copy of this, but come on, I wasn't born yesterday. What is the expression? I was born at night. Well, not last night. The district attorney's gonna read, and they're gonna freak out when they realize that the community has uncovered the informants. Now, it's very important that we don't disclose who they are, because then the district attorney's gonna try to criminalize us and say we're dissuading witnesses, we're threatening their safety, and they're gonna go to the judge and try to make us look bad. When I read this to Alex, as we say, low key, homie already knew, okay? But we can't speak on it. So remember, Rosenberg and Checkpoint are never going to disclose the informants, because that's just how it is, California 2024. And I'll tell you a little story about the case, because remember, there's a protective order preventing me from sharing the police reports with my client, preventing me from sharing police reports with the media. And I had a client where in gang cases, they do these protective orders because they think the gang is gonna single out victims and witnesses and fuck them up, right? Okay. But I had a client say, Rosenberg, doesn't that violate the Constitution? I can't get my discovery? And if you're thinking the same thing, guys, power to the people, you're correct. But the state of the law in California is that the judges will sign these protective orders all the friggin' time. So this is what I mean when I talk about transparency in criminal justice. And if you're feeling outraged, this is a place in the law where you may feel outraged. But when I read this to Alex, he started nodding, and he knew what time it was. Okay, so the update on his health is that he's still not getting treatment from the specialist that he needs for the symptoms he's having for colon cancer. And you may say, Rosenberg, you're a lawyer. Why aren't you doing anything? And so the answer is, Rosenberg, I'm a certified specialist in criminal law, but I don't practice civil rights. And so denial of medical care while you're in jail, that's a civil rights issue. And let's give a shout out to the civil rights lawyer, my colleague Ben Crump, my colleague DeWitt Lacey, my colleague Christian Contreras, and the big dog Humberto Guizar, because those are the people that are defending your civil rights, and there's a natural overlap between civil rights and criminal defense. Okay, so where are we at? We did get the transcript finally to the bail hearings, and that means we're able to pursue a writ WRIT of habeas, HABEAS, corpus, CORPUS, and I spell it out so the community can Google it and learn about it, because I want everyone to learn about it. And I say you people, and somebody tried to comment, who's you people? Well, who the fuck is you people? It's the El Pueblo, la comunidad. That's the fucking people I'm talking to. So you guys are the people. I should say you folks. I'm not disrespecting women. And so what I'm trying to tell you is Rosenberg wants to be transparent. I want you to know what's going on, because not everybody can be here in the flesh like we all are. And I appreciate the love and support. If you have a question, I'm open for questions. But I do have to go to the Pomona Police Department and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department to go ahead and serve them with our bombshell. I had a question over here from Queen.
Can you, before you leave, can you just give a recap of the next court date?
Sure. Okay, that's a good question. So the next court date is April 3rd. I have filed my pitches motion. We're going to litigate that. My colleague, Damon Allen Murray, has filed a discovery motion. And what we all want, because we all joined means we're making it our motion too. But he wants all communications between the district attorney's office and the San Bernardino County Sheriff and the Pomona Police Department with none other than Mayor Aquanetta Warren, because we believe that information is exculpatory. Exculpatory means points to innocence. And remember I mentioned the case Brady versus Maryland? Brady versus Maryland gives the prosecutor the duty to disclose exculpatory evidence. And I talked to the DA, and by the way, the DAs know, and the cops watch social media, so I'm speaking to them too, okay? So he said, we're objecting based on relevance, okay? Now the community believes that this prosecution leads back to the mayor.
Yep.
So I'm not confirming, I'm not condemning, I'm just reminding the community of what y'all say. So we're going to litigate that motion on April 3rd as well. So April 3rd, if you're out there, is an important date. It's worth taking off work for Wednesday to watch us. And what I've called my motion and Damon's motion, to use the Star Wars analogy, this is Empire Strikes Back. So right now, you're seeing Free the Justice 8. We're punching back on the DA, on the San Bernardino Sheriff, on the Pomona Police Department. I have a question.
I heard of
Do I have
March
another
8th.
question?
Yeah, March
Say
8th.
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're right. So March 8th. So now remember, the DA's been saying for a long time, my boss said there's no offers, there's no offers. Well, now they're going to make offers. So if they make an offer that my client can accept, we'll consider it. But other than that, our answer is, homie, we're taking it to the box.
What's this video?
Question.
When you go back to MLK, when you go back to Malcolm X, you have a lot of people that the picture of Malcolm X getting shot. It took us 40 years to know that one of the persons that took that picture was actually the felon. Now, what do you tell to the activists? Because as an activist, it's my duty to be here. Now, I'm trying to get more activists from LA County to come here. What do you tell the activists who are being persecuted in small towns like Victorville?
So this is my message as a former community organizer, former nonprofit director, former campaign manager for local politics, and currently a board member of the Always for the People Foundation. If you don't know, Senate is our executive director. So go to social media, Always for the People Foundation. But here's the message, having qualified myself. If it can happen here, it can happen to you. So this case goes well beyond the 8 co-defendants. In my opinion, the world should be watching this case. Not because of Rosenberg, but because of Alex, because of Wendy, because of Stephanie, because of David, because of Vanessa. And if I missed one, no offense, but you know, I stand in for the other lawyers. By the way, guys, I would never, ever, ever let another lawyer stand in for Rosenberg on this case. Never. So I'm gonna be here in the flesh.
So March 8th at 8:30
Yes, 8:30.
and April
April 3rd.
at 8:30.
Yes. So we used to do the 1:30 when we were doing the preliminary hearing, but court always starts at 8:30. Now, I'm going to be honest, my bad. I was a little late today, but I did the Mr. Criminal podcast last night in Riverside, and the media has a question.
Yeah, some of the other attorneys, like Mr. Aziz, they are talking about a recall, some sort of, I don't know what exactly the recall hearing is, and they're talking about like maybe another bail hearing, or trying to get
Right,
another
so
bail.
Arsani is trying to litigate the bail issue again. My personal take on that is that he's not entitled to another bail review in the Superior Court, but we're all entitled to raise the issue in front of the Court of Appeal.
Does that
As
take
far as the recall goes, in my practice, there's no such thing as a recall motion in criminal courts. But there is something called a recall motion for an elected official, and the first official that comes to mind is Mayor Aquanetta Warren. Does that answer your question?
I guess sort of, and Wilkerson said something about more video evidence.
Yes, what is this video?
Yeah, so I don't know, guys, because I don't have it.
So
Question
does that
over
does that
here.
bail hearing take that defendant into a different?
So he comes back on March 7th. He's on his own.
Okay.
But Rosenberg, I'll be here on March 8th. I have a hearing for Almighty Suspect, if you know him from No Jumper,
Respect on my suspect.
in Torrance. That's the big dog. I got 3 robberies for him dismissed at preliminary hearing. But I have to send a lawyer because, no offense, Almighty, but I got to hook up Alex first. Okay, guys, I got time
Can we
for
email
like
someone?
one more question.
I have a
Rosenberg.
question over here. I've been trying
Where
to
can
get.
we email? Where can they email so they can help Alex get his medication, or what can they do to help?
So I've said this before, you want to find out the watch commander at the High Desert Detention Center, San Bernardino County Sheriff. Write a letter. Make a phone call. I had one right
He
here.
has a question.
No, I'm going to do him
Oh.
and then I'm going to do you, sir.
Is there any possibility that California 3 strikes law could come into play at any time in this case?
No, because Alex does not have any strike prior convictions. You'll remember he had a 2014 theft charge, which was basically an overcharged embezzlement. Okay, sir.
We well know that there was the New York 21, Los Siete de la Raza in the Bay Area, and Sal Castro versus the people. Why aren't you using the same motions that were used in that case, in this case?
So the answer is that I'm hoping that case law has developed since then. And if you know the lawyers from those cases, have them hit me up, bro. I mean, talking to lawyers is one of the best things a lawyer can do. Okay, guys, much love.
This is why we always
Film police.
Subscribe to Mr. Checkpoint on YouTube and send your cop videos to MrCheckpoint.com/submit.